The reason I'm here is because of J.J. Babbitt Company, you know. But they asked me, what would you say about this mouthpiece? And without even thinking, I just said, well, I've been waiting my whole life for this mouthpiece. It plays really, really like that, you know. And I started playing when I was 10. I'm not 10 anymore. I've been playing for a long time, you know. It was just so easy to play, you know. And so, do you want a mouthpiece that makes it harder for you? Nah. You really, really don't. You don't want obstacles in your way. Or I might be on a session where I need to play some light classical. Same mouthpiece, same reed. But there's other kinds of music they're going to ask you to play too. Another thing they might ask you to play is rock and roll or pop stuff. I really liked David Sanborn when I was growing up. Does it sound like I'm struggling to play this mouthpiece? Yeah, I'm not. Now that's another thing that I think is extremely important when you're trying to find a mouthpiece and a reed, is one that makes it easier for you. I mean, I can play anywhere on the horn, you know. So on behalf of Babbitt Mouthpieces, that's why I like this mouthpiece. You know, these mouthpieces are different. Every one you try is different. Well, here's the funny thing about saxophone players. None of us sound like each other. We all sound different. We all sound like we sound. I don't sound like anybody else. I mean, I kind of wished I did sometimes. We all do. But everybody sounds the same, different, because it's just a physical thing. You know, we all sound the way we sound. Well, it's not a harmful thing that every mouthpiece is going to be a little bit different, because one of them is going to fit you that won't fit the guy next to you that plays the same music in the same band the same way, because we're all a little bit different. So that's a really cool thing. I've always played Otto Link mouthpieces, always on tenor, always played a metal Otto Link. I had a really good one that I got from Frank Glover. Do you guys know who Frank Glover is? If you don't, he's the world's greatest jazz clarinet player, and he lives in the Indianapolis area. He's also an incredible saxophone player. I played with him Saturday night at the Jazz Kiss, and he's just ridiculous. I got this Otto Link because I painted a room in his house for him, and he said, "Hey man, take this mouthpiece. I'm not using it." And he got it from Eddie Daniels. It's a really good tenor mouthpiece, and I thought I could improve on it a couple of years ago, so I'm sanding on it, and I turned it into just a pile of metal, like any other pile of metal. It just didn't play very well. And so I've been searching for another mouthpiece, and so I tried the new Otto Link EB, early Babbitt, Tone Edge. Is that what? I'm not so good with the names of them, but yeah, I tried a bunch of them. I got a 7-star, and I haven't played hard rubber mouthpieces on tenor, but I really like this one for a lot of the same reasons I like that one, because I can play a lot of different things on it. Yeah. So I can play foo-foo. Play train. I played giant steps and around midnight at the same time. I like to do that at home. It's like a and then just go into giant steps. What do I practice? I practice things like that. I practice tunes. But this mouthpiece, I mean, that's a hard rubber mouthpiece, right? How am I doing on the tuners, huh? Or I play, I'm one of those guys that people call to do rock and roll stuff a lot. Like Friday night, I played with this band called the Naughty Yachties. You guys know who Josh Kaufman is? He won The Voice a few years ago from Indianapolis. Great singer. He's got a band together called the Naughty Yachties, and they do 80s pop music, you know. And so, same mouthpiece, same reed. I play with them. Do that. It's kind of like this other mouthpiece. It's like, well, oh yeah, you got one mouthpiece that'll do all of that stuff. You know. It's just so much range on this mouthpiece. That's why I play this mouthpiece, because I can do all those things on it. I'm not struggling. I'm not struggling. It starts here, here, and here, using your big boy air. So, those are the main things I really wanted to talk to you guys about. And one other just human thing. When you start getting older, you start thinking, well, how many more breaths do I have left? You know, how many breaths do I have left? How many breaths do you take a day? You know, why does that work? Why does that instrument work? It works because of the breath that we take into our lungs, you know. Is there anything any more important than that? Is there anything any more important in your life than that breath you get to take thousands of times a day? So when you're playing a woodwind instrument like that, what's pretty important? Well, that breath's a big deal, you know. You know, if you guys have ever studied any yoga breathing or anything like that, all that stuff makes a big difference. When you're young, it's easy. It's really easy, you know, but maybe you're doing it wrong. You know, I can put a lot of air in the horn, but is it the right air? You know, it's the air that's being pushed right here. You know, it's the air that makes you talk like this. You know, making you sing if you could sing. I'm not going to sing. But, you know, it's that breath. You got to take those breaths. So before you play a line, it makes you relax. It just makes you relax. How do you relax? What do they tell you when you're really uptight and you're freaking out? Take a breath, take a breath. Take a breath. Meditate. Take a breath, meditate. It'll make everything relax. You want to be a better musician. You want to be a better saxophone player, better flute player, better clarinet player, man. Learn how you can use that air to get up into here and play. You know, it all starts right here. Then you got to have a good mouthpiece, you got to have a good reed, you got to have a good horn, you know. All that stuff's available in this metropolis of a place here. They have all that stuff. You got to get this right, you got to get this right, you know, and relax. find people that know more than you do and pick their brains. You know, find great players, hang out with them, take lessons with people, stuff like that, you know. I got really lucky when I was in college when I met Mike Smith. You know, I thought I knew something about jazz. He goes, hey man, check this out. And he starts playing, he's got a record collection that takes up that whole wall, and we start listening to records, you know. You guys have YouTube now, you can do all that stuff now. You can hear those cats play live, you know. So, breathe, get a good setup, have a good horn, practice what you can't play. I can play that C scale all day long, you know. So here's what you do, man. You practice all this stuff. Like I heard Brecker, who is one of my favorite players of all times. You know, I mean, people say, man, sometimes you sound like Brecker. Well, thank you. He's one of my favorite players. Brecker would practice the hardest stuff, you know. I mean, he would really just practice technical stuff, but he said, man, I don't do this for technique. I do this to get the sounds in my head, you know. And so he said, it may be 6 months or a year before it ever starts showing up in my improvisation. So when you improvise, man, I'm not thinking about all those triad pairs that I've been working on. Now they may show up. I don't know what's going to show up. I try to not know. I try to not think about that. I try to breathe and play what I think is going to work, because it's just coming to me. I'm listening to the guys around me. I'm improvising. I'm trying to play something that's cool, that's pertinent to what I've been practicing. Maybe that stuff will come through, maybe it won't. It'll be a while, you know. And am I notoriously the slowest learner of anyone I know? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just slow. I mean, when I picked up a saxophone, it's like, okay, this is a whole lot easier than guitar. I can do this. There's something about this and that. It's easier, you know. Guitar, I'm just horrible. You know, I'm just freaking horrible. Saxophone, man, I don't know. I could do a little bit, you know. But I'm a notoriously slow learner. I'm also a runner. And I remember running with this girl at work, and I said, you know, I'm going to tell you something about me and us running. I said, I never quit, ever. Never quit. Never quit. And I said, I'm the same way about saxophone. I'm not going to quit, you know, just because I'm not as good as this guy or this guy or this guy. Give me time. It'll take a while. You know, I'm going to learn from you. You know, I just don't quit. You know, I want to do certain things. So I practice what I can't do.